Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen urges the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh to encourage more investment from Bangladesh in the agricultural sector in Cambodia. First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen gives prevosta candles and donates many other items to the monks staying at Wat Munisovan in Phnom Penh during the rainy season. Wildfires rage across several countries in Europe as much of the continent bakes in a heat wave, pushing temperatures into the mid-40s. Ivana Trump, the first wife of former U.S. President Donald Trump and the mother of his 3 oldest children, died on Thursday at the age of 73. And dramatic footage from Thailand shows a team of veterinarians, national park staff, and volunteers successfully rescuing a baby elephant that fell into a manhole along with its mother. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gauchan. Prime Minister Hun Sen has urged the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, A.K. Abdul Momen, to encourage investors from Bangladesh to invest in the agricultural sector in Cambodia to help trade between the two countries. During the meeting between the Prime Minister and the Bangladeshi Minister of Foreign Affairs at the Peace Palace on Friday morning, Minister A.K. Abdul Momen informed Prime Minister Hun Sen that the government of Bangladesh intends to expand cooperation in all fields with Cambodia, especially in the trade sector, in order to maintain food security amidst globally rising food prices. In response, Prime Minister Hun Sen replied that in order to boost trade between the two countries, the Bangladeshi government should encourage Bangladeshi investors to come to Cambodia, visit the rice mills, and buy rice directly from farmers for storage and import. He also raised the idea of Bangladesh's participation in arranging to help Cambodian farmers through contract farming. The Bangladeshi foreign minister led a delegation to visit Cambodia from 14th to 16th July to further enhance the existing good relations and cooperation between the two countries for the mutual benefit of the people of Cambodia and Bangladesh. Trade volume between Cambodia and Bangladesh in 2020 reached about $20 million, in which more than $9 million was in export trade from Cambodia to Bangladesh, mostly in fabrics and rubber. On Thursday afternoon, First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen, along with accompanying leaders and officials of the Cambodian Red Cross, brought prevosta candles and donated many other items to the monks staying at Wat Munisovan in Phnom Penh during the rainy season. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
The beginning of Buddhist Lent, known as prevosta, is held every year from the first day of the month of Asad, according to the Khmer Buddhist calendar, to the 15th day of the month of Asad. The ceremony started the evening of the 15th day of the month of Asad with the participation of the elders living near the pagoda, the processions of candles, robes and other paraphernalia, and processions around the temple, and then the sermon of the offering of the candles to the monks. Before the arrival of the beginning of the Buddhist Lent, Khmer Buddhists who have a strong belief in Buddhism bring vossa candles and other offerings to the monks who will stay in the pagodas the whole rainy season without ritual of seeking alms every morning. First Lady Bunrani Hun Sen is someone who has strong belief in Buddhism and always brings candles and gifts to monks in the temples every year. The ceremony offering priyavasana candles, offering gifts, were made according to the Khmer Buddhist scriptures. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Minister of Justice Khaotrat has explained that in the principle of democracy, the party that wins the most seats in the National Assembly is directly elected by the people in power. So the appointment of someone as Prime Minister to form a government is the exclusive right of the party that wins the most seats in the National Assembly, even if that party does not get more than 50% plus 1 in votes. Minister Khaotrat made this statement at a press conference highlighting the purpose and content of the amendment of 8 articles in the Cambodian Constitution. Article 1192 of the updated Constitution states, "At the request of the party with the largest number of seats in the National Assembly, the King appoints an elite as Prime Minister to form the royal government. The proposal from the party with the most seats in the National Assembly must be copied to the President of the National Assembly." The wording of the new draft constitution differs from the old one, which stated, "With the consensus of the 2 vice presidents of the National Assembly, the King nominates one of the elites of the winning party to form the royal government." The Justice Minister stated that the amendment was made to respect the will of the people, who are the voters that elect a party into power, so the political party with the most seats in the National Assembly must be the leader of the government.
តើខុសនឹងរបបសភានិយមកន្លែងណាបើសិនជាសភានៅតែមានសិទ្ធិអំណាចពេញក្នុងដៃក្នុងការបោះឆ្នោតផ្ដល់សេចក្តីទុកចិត្តក្នុងការបង្កើតរដ្ឋាភិបាលក៏ដូចជាអនុម័តញត្តិបន្ទោសដើម្បីដកសេចក្តីទុកចិត្តពីរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលឬហៅថាទម្លាក់គណៈរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីបានដដែលតើកន្លែងណាដែលថាបន្ថយនៅអំណាចរបស់រដ្ឋសភាវាអត់មានគឺចាត់តាំងវរៈជនមួយរូបធ្វើជានាយករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីហើយវរៈជនមួយរូបនេះគាត់ទៅផ្គូផ្គងនៅសមាជិកភាពផ្សេងៗដើម្បីបង្កើតជារាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលប៉ុន្តែគ្រាន់តែផ្គូផ្គងបានជាបញ្ជីទេមិនទាន់ចេញជាគណៈរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីទេតលតែយកទៅឆ្លងរដ្ឋសភាហើយរដ្ឋសភាបោះឆ្នោតផ្ដល់សេចក្តីទុកចិត្តតាមមតិភាគច្រើនដាច់ខាតទើបគណៈរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនេះអាចត្រូវបានតែងតាំងដោយព្រះមហាក្សត្រតាមរយៈព្រះរាជក្រឹត្យចុះអំណាចរដ្ឋសភានៅកន្លែងណាអំណាចរដ្ឋសភាគឺនៅកន្លែងបោះឆ្នោតដើម្បីផ្ដល់សេចក្តីទុកចិត្ត 50% បូក 1 គឺជាអំណាចរបស់សភាក្នុងរបបសភានិយមគឺអំណាចនៅកន្លែងហ្នឹងឯង
On Friday, 8th July, the Council of Ministers fully approved the new draft constitution and submitted it to the National Assembly. According to Minister Khaotrat, the current amendment to the constitution was necessary to ensure the functioning of state institutions, to maintain stability and peace, fill the gaps of the constitution, and to uphold the fundamental principles of liberal multi-party democracy, the principles of the constitutional monarchy, and the ruling regime of Cambodia. The Ministry of Health has requested the governors of provinces with bordering land or water with neighboring countries to strengthen health checks on Cambodians returning through border crossings to catch cases of COVID-19 before they enter the country. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more details.
In a notification issued on Thursday, the 14th of July, the Ministry of Health informed all governors of the border provinces that there are health measures to be applied to passengers, citizens or Cambodian workers entered through Cambodia through the land and water borders between Cambodia, Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. Those who have not been vaccinated or still have not completed their full basic dose are required to undergo free rapid testing. The ministry added that in case of the positive test, if symptoms are low, the patient will be allowed to seek treatment at home or in a hotel, and the individual will be responsible for their own expenses and will have to implement the 3 do's and 3 don'ts. In accordance with the set procedures and standards from the management, care and treatment of patients with COVID-19. Those with severe symptoms were referred to a hospital. Cambodia began detecting new cases of COVID-19 from the 28th of June after a 52-day streak of no cases. Prime Minister Hun Sen said the urgent voice message on the night of 28th of June, urging people to take precautionary measures and to get everyone vaccinated to avoid large-scale spread of COVID-19 in the community once again. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications has decided to build 100 more antenna stations to improve the quality of service, prioritizing tourist destinations and remote tourist areas. For the construction of more antennas, the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications will use funding from the Global Service Obligations Fund, as well as cooperate with the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Environment, other relevant ministries and mobile operators to improve the quality of services to priority tourist destinations and remote tourist areas. The construction of this additional antenna station is in line with the mechanism of the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications, which has 5 service quality improvement teams in 5 regions throughout the country and 8 service quality improvement teams in Boré, Phnom Penh to fulfill the operator's obligation to build additional antennas to improve the quality of telecommunication services and coverage. It should be noted that this decision was made after Prime Minister Hun Sen urged for the quality of internet services to be improved in both rural and urban areas, as well as resorts in Cambodia, during the work review meeting of the Ministry of Tourism on Thursday, focusing on restoring and promoting Cambodia's tourism sector in and after the COVID-19 crisis.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Wildfires raged across tinder-dry country in Portugal, Spain, France, Croatia, and Turkey on Thursday, burning homes and threatening livelihoods as much of Europe baked in a heat wave that has pushed temperatures into the mid-40s in some parts.
Nations across southern Europe experiencing the second heat wave in as many months have been hit by a series of wildfires over the last few weeks. In Portugal's central Leira district, tired firefighters battle to control blazes that have been fanned for strong winds. Footage from the area on Wednesday showed smoke darkening the skies and billowing across the highway, while flames licked around the roofs of houses of one small village. It is absolutely crucial we avoid new events because it leads to the exhaustion of firefighters and all others who are doing their best to control the situation. When it gets to the eucalyptus, it's like an explosion, Antonio, an elderly resident of a nearby village, Giesteria, said as he anxiously watched approaching flames. Across the border in western Spain, a fire that started in Extremadura region on Tuesday swept in Salamanca province in the region of Castilla and Leon, forcing the evacuation of 49 children from the summer camp on Thursday. Regional authorities said more than 4,000 hectares, or 9,900 acres of the land had been burnt. On Croatia's Antarctic coast, firefighting planes swooped low to dump water over the burning forest, and troops were called to help firefighters battling contain three major wildfires around Zadar and Zabernik. In southwestern France, more than 1,000 firefighters backed by 9 water bombing planes were battling 2 firefighters that were started on Tuesday. The fires have already burnt 5,300 hectares, a figure that has doubled over the past 24 hours. The other blaze, now the biggest with 2,900 hectares, was along the Atlantic coast, close to the Dule de Pilat and the tallest sand dune in Europe, in the Aracon Bay area, above which heavy clouds of dark smoke were seen rising into the sky. Around 6,000 people were evacuated from surrounding campsites on Wednesday and another 4,000 people early on Thursday. A wildfire also broke out near the southern eastern town of Tasakon on Thursday, burning several hundred hectares of land. Thousands of people also evacuated from homes in Turkey's southwestern Dakota Peninsula as the fire started on Wednesday, was fanned by strong winds overnight and threatened the residential areas. The forestry minister said that the fire had been brought under control on Thursday after 7 firefighting aircrafts and 14 helicopters were deployed to contain it. Scientists blame human-caused climate change for the increased frequency of extreme weather, such as heat waves, which has also hit parts of China and United States in recent days. A study in journal Nature last week found the number of heat waves in Europe has increased 3 to 4 times faster than in the rest of the northern mid-latitudes, such as United States and Canada, due to a large part of the jet stream air currently splitting into 2 parts for longer periods.
Ivana Trump, the first wife of former U.S. President Donald Trump and the mother of his 3 oldest children, who helped her husband build some of his signature buildings, including Trump Tower, died on Thursday at age 73, Donald Trump announced. I am very saddened to inform all of those that loved her, of which there are many, that Ivana Trump has passed away at her home in New York City, Trump said in a post on the social media platform Truth Social. The couple married in 1977 and divorced in 1992. They had 3 children together, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. Ivana Trump was a survivor. She fled from communism and embraced this country. She taught her children about grit and toughness and compassion and determination, the Trump family said in a statement. She grew up under communist rule in the former Czechoslovakia. Neither the Trump family statement nor the post from the former president mentioned the cause of death, but a police spokesperson said she was found dead on the stairs inside her apartment and that foul play was not suspected. The fire department of New York said paramedics responded to a call to her apartment for a cardiac arrest. She was born Ivana Mary Zelníková on February 20, 1949, in Gottwaldov, Czechoslovakia, the town where she grew up near Prague that is now known as Zlín in the Czech Republic. She spent much of her youth in competitive skiing for the Czechoslovakian national team, later competing for Charles University in Prague, where she earned a master's degree in physical education and languages, according to her biography posted by CMG Worldwide, a business agency for celebrities that represented her. Ivana Trump played a role in building up the Trump media image in the 1980s, when they were one of the New York City's most prominent power couples. While Donald Trump took the credit for his early success breaking into the highly competitive Manhattan real estate market, Ivana Trump also filled an important role in the family business soon after their marriage. She worked alongside her husband in developing Trump Tower, his signature building on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, and other high-profile projects such as the Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort in Atlantic City, New Jersey, the Times said. Ivana Trump was the vice president for interior design for the Trump Organization and managed the historic Plaza Hotel, which Trump acquired in 1988, all while raising her 3 children. She married 3 other times, including once before she met Trump, in what she described as a Cold War marriage to obtain an Austrian passport. Her 2 later marriages also ended in divorce. Indonesian Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati said on Friday that it was vital for G20 finance leaders to reach a consensus during talks in Bali, warning otherwise it would be catastrophic for low-income countries facing soaring food and energy prices.
Finance leaders from a group of 20 major economies are meeting on a resort island as host Indonesia tries to find common ground in a group afraid by the Ukraine war and rising economic pressures from the soaring inflation. Russia's invasion to Ukraine, which the Kremlin calls a special military operation, has overshadowed the previous G20 meetings, including last week's gathering of the foreign ministers. Sri Mulyani said that the world had high hopes that the group would be able to find a solution to the triple threat of the war, rising commodity prices, and their spillover effects of ability of low-income countries to repay debt. We are actually aware of the cost of our failure to work together is more than what we can afford. The humanitarian consequences of the world, and especially for many low-income countries, would be catastrophic, she said. G20 members include Western countries have imposed sanctions on Russia and accused it of war crimes in Ukraine, which it denies, as well as the nations like China, India, South Africa, which have been more muted in their responses. Sri Mulyani called the G20 members to talk less about politics and build bridges between each other to deliver more technical decisions and actions. We need to strengthen the spirit of multilateralism. We need to also build a safety net for our future cooperation, she said. German and French officials have expressed skepticism that common ground can be reached due to tensions over Ukraine. US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen commended Russia's brutal and just war in Ukraine and said Russia's finance officials taking part in the meeting shared responsibility for the horrific consequences of the war. Ukraine's finance minister expected to speak at one of the sessions virtually, Indonesia said. Russian Finance Minister Anton Selevnov will also address the meeting virtually with his deputy travelling to Bali. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov walked out of one of the sessions of the meeting and his counterparts in Bali last week, following what he called a frenzy of criticism of his country over the war. The meeting ended without a communique or any announcements of the agreements. Yellen said that one of her key objectives was to push G20 creditors, including China, to finalise debt relief for countries in debt distress.
Let's have a look at today's finance. The CSX index is currently at 482.07 points, down 1.29 points or 0.27%. The National Bank of Cambodia's daily exchange rate is 4,085 Khmer Rial to the USD. Now a look at what else is happening in finance around the world.
According to investment requests of the company to the Investment Committee of Cambodia of the Council Development of Cambodia decided to issue investment project registration certificates to the following companies. Zin Medak Garment Company Limited. Their project is to establish a garment factory located in Khan Menchay, Phnom Penh, with investment capital of approximately $3.6 million and will create 997 jobs. W.L. Wee Lian Garment Co. Limited. And their project is to establish a garment factory located in Kampong Spu province, an investment capital of approximately $3.1 million and will create 1,220 jobs. SP 500 Dow closed lower after the bank earnings inflation data. The SP 500 paired early losses to close modestly lower on Thursday after investments digested disappointing quarterly results from two large US banks and hotter than expected inflation data. Initially, all three major US stock indexes sold off sharply in the wake of a second quarter. Earnings from JP Morgan Chase & Co. and Morgan Stanley both reported slumping profits and warned an implementing economic slowdown. Losses narrowed as the session wore on, with advancing microchip stocks helping nudge the Nasdaq Composite Index to normal gain. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 142.62 points, or 0.46%, to 30,630.17 points. The SP 500 lost 11.4 points, or 30%, at 3,790.38 points, and the Nasdaq Composite added 3.60 points, or 0.03%, at 11,251.19 points. 8 of the 11 major sectors of the SP 500 ended the day in negative territory, with the financials suffering the largest percentage lots, dropping 1.9%. Volume on the US exchange was 10.86 billion shares compared to the 12.48 billion averages over the last 20 trading days. That's the latest news on finance. Tune in tomorrow for more.
And finally, a team of veterinarians, national park staff, and volunteers successfully rescued a baby elephant that fell into a manhole along with its mother on Wednesday in Khao Yai National Park in central Thailand. According to park officials, a 1-year-old calf fell into a drain hole while the mother was guarding it without leaving its side. The rescue team used anesthetic shots to subdue the frantic mother elephant, resulting in one half of her falling into the hole. However, it allowed the baby elephant to suckle from its mother. Rescuers then used a crane to lift the mother up, but she fainted due to stress. The video showed staff members performing CPR to save the elephant's life. The calf later climbed out of the hole and suckled on the mother until she regained consciousness, and both were able to return to the wild. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV, or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.